If discipline worked the way you were told it would, you wouldn't feel stuck. And here's the truth. Discipline, it's not failing you. It's actually finishing its job. And if no one ever told you that, this episode will finally make sense of the last 10 years. Welcome to The Sacred Gentleman, a formation podcast for men who want to walk with God, lead with presence, and build a legacy that outlives them. This is part 2 of a 4-part series, Why Men Fail Their Resolutions. If you missed part 1, start there. This series is designed to stack. Here is the belief that must fall before anything else in your life can move forward. Discipline does not fail. Misaligned discipline does. Let that sit for a moment. Most men believe the opposite. They believe that if discipline isn't working, something must be wrong with me. And they push harder. They wake up earlier. They train longer. They work more and they sleep less. And for a while that works. Your body improves, your output increases, and your life looks better on paper. But inside, you start to feel flat, disconnected, unsettled. That's not weakness, and that's not laziness. That's discipline reaching the end of its assignment. And no one prepared you for that moment. I remember the exact morning that unaligned discipline stopped working for me. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. The alarm went off, the same alarm that had gone off for months. I walked down into my basement and my gym, of course, was quiet. There was no music yet. There was no movement. And I sat down on the bench and I bent over, elbows on my knees. And for the first time, I wasn't tired from training. I was tired from doing. If you'd seen my face in that moment, you wouldn't have seen anger. You would have seen concern. You would have seen flatness. And I remember thinking that morning, man, I really don't want to do this today. And then the thoughts started stacking. I'm doing everything right. My body is a ton better. My career is gaining traction. So why do I feel so off inside? And then the question hit me. It was clean and absolutely unavoidable. Why am I doing all this? It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't emotional. It was just pure honesty in that quiet moment. And that's when I realized something that I didn't want to admit. I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep going with it. And brother, if you've been there, you know exactly what that moment feels like. You're consistent. You're disciplined. You're doing what you said you would do. But inside something's missing. You're grinding, but you're not grounded. You're improving, but you're not fulfilled. You're disciplined, but you're not alive. And you start wondering, why am I working this hard if nothing inside is changing? Why does my body look better, but my soul feels the same? Why does this feel selfish instead of meaningful? You don't say it out loud. You just sit there early in the morning before the day even breaks, and you wonder if this is all that there is. And this is where most men turn that blade inward. They start to think, I must not want it bad enough, or I must be lazy. I must be broken even. And that belief, it quietly destroys men, because once you believe that you're the problem, you stop questioning the system. You double down, you shame yourself, you force discipline even harder. So let me say this clearly. If discipline worked at first, you, my friend, are not the problem. Discipline doesn't fail suddenly. It finishes. It does exactly what it was designed to do, to create structure, to build consistency, restore control. But discipline was never designed to answer questions like, why am I here? Who am I becoming? Who am I responsible for? So when those questions rise, discipline feels empty, not because you failed, but because you reached the end of that method. Now let's talk about that method itself. When I started my growth, I came up in military style leadership, Jocko Willink, echelon front, extreme ownership. Discipline equals freedom. And I want to be very, very clear here. Those teachings, that working with Jocko and his team, that helped me immensely. It was the first step. I lost 80 pounds. I became accountable. I became consistent. Discipline gave me my footing back. But here's the lie that I was sold and that you're being sold. If you're disciplined enough, everything else will fall into place. That sounds true. It feels true until it doesn't. Because discipline can change your habits, but it cannot define your direction. It can absolutely sharpen the man, but it cannot assign the mission. And when discipline becomes the identity instead of the servant, let me repeat that. And when discipline becomes the identity instead of the servant, a man's going to eventually break. And it's not going to happen loudly. It's going to happen somewhat quietly. He keeps showing up, but he stops feeling present. All right, man, write this down. You can be disciplined and still not make an impact. And here's the deeper truth behind that. Discipline without direction becomes self-destruction, not explosive destruction. It's a quiet erosion. You do everything right, but you don't even know why you're doing it. Here's the shift that changed everything for me. Discipline, it asks, what should I do today? Your calling asks, who am I becoming? And who am I becoming for? Discipline is about control. Calling is about surrender. Discipline organizes your calendar. Calling organizes your life. And this is where I had to confront myself. I was becoming a more disciplined man, but not a better husband, not a more present father, not a more spiritually aligned leader. My wife even wondered at one point if I was unhappy in our marriage. Not because she thought that she had failed, but because all my effort was turned inward. Calling changes that. Calling takes discipline and aims it in the right direction, toward service, toward responsibility, toward legacy. This is formation. It's not force. Brother, this is where things start to move. Come back to this section later if you need to, but come back. All right, step one, we need to name the misalignment. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to write this question down. Where has discipline made me better, but not more meaningful, not more impactful? And I want you to answer it in these three areas: your body, your work, your home. And I don't want you to fix anything right now. I just want you to write truth. Step two, shift from self to alignment. So now write, who did God design me to serve in this season? He didn't call you to serve your own success or your own validation. He called you to serve people. This is the shift right here. Self-improvement to responsibility. Step three, reorder discipline. I want you to choose one discipline you already practice. And I want you to write, I do this discipline so that, and fill in the blank. So an example of that might be, I work out every day because I want to stay healthy and be able to do things with my kid for my entire life. That gives you purpose. That turns effort into worship. And then step four, identify the false driver. So I want you to ask, what have I been trying to prove? What have I been trying to prove to myself? What have I been trying to prove to my wife, to the community, whatever it is? Fear drives discipline. Calling produces peace. Step five, write that calling statement. Finish the sentence. In this season, God is forming me into the man who, fill in the blank. So it might be, in this season, God is forming me into a man that is enough, that's aligned, that's an amazing husband or father. He's forming me into a man who is a sacred gentleman. Brother, if this episode has clarified something for you, you're not looking for motivation. You're looking for formation. And that's why I have three paths. I have coaching programs where you can get the highest level of service, multiple courses that help men on different legs of their journey. And starting in January, I'm going to be opening a sacred brotherhood, the Knight's Order. No pressure, guys, just alignment. A sacred gentleman, he isn't sold. He's called forward. Brother, discipline did not fail you. It carried you here. Now it's time to aim it. Stand up, align your efforts, and become the man that your discipline was always meant to serve. I want to make sure that this point hits home with you. Discipline is not your identity. It's a tool in your toolbox that helps you become your identity. So you become the man. Your discipline was always meant to serve. I'll see you in part 3, guys.